Hey, good morning, Kali Vanakam. Let's see what else we got here. Uh, Madam and Jess and Chowboy Sang. Welcome to That's Life with Evolution. I am your host, Ev.O.Lution. And today we got Poetics coming back to the show today, man. How you doing, Poetics?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, Evolution. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you know how we do, man. I couldn't see it any other way, man. It'd be a great lead up to our show that's going to be in a couple more days, man. Uh, I'm excited for that, and I know you're ready. So we just waiting for the date so we can give the people what we got.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic, man. I'm so ready for it.
Oh man, for sure, man. And I know you was on my show before, but let's go ahead and give them an introduction to yourself once again for the people that missed you the first time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I go by the name Poetics. Been writing poetry for a couple decades now. Um, got a project, How I Seek Peace, which is a book that I've authored with some assistance from Evolution, actually. And it's a great project, and I'm definitely excited to see what lies in the future.
Hey man, that's what it is, and just in the future, right around the corner, is a second podcast with yourself and myself, titled "What's Going On." We're gonna be bringing some different type of light to the world, and hopefully they can appreciate it and support it, like they appreciate and support. That's Life with Evolution. So yeah, man, I'm ready to go. I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right around the corner, man. Long time coming.
Man.
Um, so what I'm gonna do right now is give a shout out to our sponsors, JG's Lounge, TGBTG, Golden Diamond Productions, and Leia's Question for giving us those awesome questions. It gets us going with our conversations for the day. The title for the day, man, False Fronts. It looks good, but it's not good for you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna dip into that a little bit today. And what's gonna help us go there is Leia's question. We're gonna get into that right now. So, Leia's question for the day: when it comes to false fronts, it looks good for you, but it's not. I mean, it looks good to you, but it's not good for you. Is once you find out that it's not good for you, how do you remove it from yourself and those things that are in your surroundings? How do you get away from those? Uh, well,
Mhm.
easier said than done, but you just got to be strong and have control and do what's best for you. Before I get into this poetics, man, do you have any ideas that you want to share on that?
Yes, sir. I It's funny, man. When I heard that question, I thought first thing that came to mind is the phrase "everything that glitters is not gold."
Boom. Yes. Yes.
So, a lot of times, something looks really appealing to the eye. It could
Mhm.
be anything. It could be a significant other. It can be a career. It could be it could be
Yeah.
a friendship. It could be anything.
Right.
Any relationship, anything in general, any object. And as you get into that, you find out, down the line that, oh, wow, this is really not good for me, even though it
Mhm.
appeals to me.
Right, man. And believe it or not, you just touched on a few subjects that we got on the way.
Ah, cool.
So that's perfect, man. But I'm gonna start off kind of light, and then we're gonna get into the real.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna keep it light right here. First thing that I want to do, and this is kind of something that affects me and maybe a couple other people, man. Just only a couple other people out there, but it's food, man. A lot of times, food can look good, but it's not good for you. Uh, First type of food I want to mention, bro, is spicy.
Mm, right, right.
Looks good, but it's not good for you. You got any thoughts, ideas, experiences, or stories you want to elaborate on?
Just some ideas. Not a huge spicy foods eater,
Hmm.
but definitely, it's gonna probably do something to your insides. It's definitely not the most nutritional thing you can probably
Hmm.
engage in. Excuse me.
Bless you, brother. Bless you. Yeah. Bless you two times. You got one more?
I think that's it.
All right. All right. Go ahead, man.
But yeah, it's just kind of the indulgence of something spicy. It can be. I think it's a lot you could even go to in with that as well. But like you said, we're gonna keep it a little light.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And my thoughts on that is the older you get, and we're only a couple years old, man. You know, older than what we was back in the day when we could just shovel anything down and you know burp it off a couple times and we was good. Uh,
Right.
but man, I tell you what, the body shifts on you. What I mean?
Yeah,
It's like this timer. As soon as you hit a certain age, that sucker shifts.
man.
And you got to kind of watch what you eat a little bit more and be more careful of what you put inside you because it will come back with a vengeance.
Sure, for sure.
And
Definitely.
spicy is one of those things, man. Now I'm okay with a little bit of spicy, but I just can't go all in like some people, man. I know depending on who you are and where you're from and what your background is, you can probably tolerate a little bit more of that spicy. But whoo, I tell you what, I had some dinner or a meal prepared by certain people who like spicy, man, and you go visit or whatever, man, and you want to eat everything that's on the plate, right? One because it looks good, it probably tastes good in the beginning, and then because of who who where you at. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to offend nobody by not finishing up what they got for you.
Right.
Um, but man, I tell you what, you got to be very selective on where you go. You might want to ask questions too. Hey, what you got going on over there? What you preparing because I have to be cautious on what I put in my belly. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Because boy, some places I just can't go no more.
Definitely.
What about
Definitely.
you, man? You got any personal experiences with the spicy?
Not necessarily with the spicy. I can do spicy here and there,
Uh,
but I definitely don't I guess overindulge in it or do a
mhm,
ton of it.
mhm.
So it's kind of like I kind of know my limitations.
Got it, got it. And that's the important thing. You know your limitations. The second food I'm looking at, man, is hot.
Oh,
Yeah, looks good, but it ain't good for you, man. And go ahead, man.
yeah, man. In terms of hot food, I try not to border them together with spicy food, but I think sometimes it just applies.
Hmm.
Hot foods I really don't do any of, to
Hmm.
be honest with you. So I just kind of steer away.
Yeah, man, that's a smart move, and me as well. Now I dabble every now and then, and it's a couple things that I do actually like.
Hmm,
Uh, One is really not that hot, and a lot of people be like, "Man, that ain't hot." A pepperoncini, I kind of like those, and I think I got that from my grandfather, man, because he used to tear those suckers up, man. It has a little spicy kick. It's not really hot, so that's probably why I can deal with it.
okay.
But jalapenos, man, I actually like jalapenos on certain things, but boy.
Yeah. That's a different one right there.
And depending on what type of jalapeno it is too, because some of them are okay, some of them
Hmm.
got a little kick, and some of them got that power fire to hit you. You put in your mouth, and then a couple seconds later, you're like, "Ooh, that's a good one."
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? What
Right.
about you, man? You got anything hot that you do like?
Um, you know what? Now that I think about it, and I don't know if this really counts, but you know how you have those hot or spicy pickles?
Yep.
I used to enjoy them a lot. I didn't indulge in them a lot, but when
Right,
I
right.
had them, I was just like, yeah, this is cool. I haven't had one in years, actually, now that I think about it.
Uh-huh.
But that was definitely something that I actually did like or enjoy. So,
And a phrase that I developed over the years is, I like it, but it don't like
don't
me.
like me.
So yeah, man, I really stand clear of hot foods, man. Now, sometimes I'll try it, depending on who cooked it and whatever, but I don't go all in, man. I might get a little taste,
Right.
and that might be too much. But I just get a little taste, man, and I move on, man. So the next food here, I'm signed because this is my weakness, bro. Sweets.
Okay.
They look good, but they ain't good for you, man. And I'm gonna jump off into this first, man, because sweets just call me, man. They call to me. You know what I mean? If I know they in the building, if I know they close by, they just calling my name, man. And I try my best to have willpower, but once I know it's there, man, it got me.
Yeah.
It got
Sure.
me, man. So it's good, looks good, but it's really not good for you, man. But I tell you what, I need somebody to say a prayer for me, man, when it comes to sweets, man, because I lack the willpower that it takes. I'm a strong dude, man. I got some might about myself, but when it comes to them sweets, I need help. I need restraint, man. But go ahead, dude. What you got?
All right. For this one, I'm gonna get just a touch deep, just a touch.
All right, all
And
right.
me, I'm actually a diabetic. So
Mm-hmm.
I found out the hard way
Oh man,
that I
oh
was a
man.
diabetic. Didn't even
Mm.
know about it. Sweets have always been a weakness, I think, in my family. My
Got it.
mom, my pops,
Yeah.
my siblings, like everybody. So
Hmm.
I kind of, I still enjoy my sweets. I'm not as restricted as people think, but I
Hmm.
just do everything in moderation.
Got it.
So
Got it.
I don't overindulge. I just kind of, okay, I haven't had, sweets all day. So it's like, now I can have this or I can have
Right.
that.
Right.
So it's
Something
kind
you
of like,
can. Yeah. Yeah. Something you can burn off quick. Chase it with some water. Uh,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And see, I'm in the same boat, man. My father was like that, man. I mean, he was bad at it, man, and he developed diabetes. You know what I'm saying? So I got to really be careful, man. But I do chase a lot of water, behind the sweets, man. But I tell you what, I got to figure that one out, man. I need it. I just got it's bad, bro. It's not as bad as it could be, and it's not as bad as it was. I'm getting better, but if I don't know about it, I'm okay.
Right. Yeah, man, I've really learned how to discipline myself a lot.
Mm,
So I've made I kind of made it was like an instant switch for me too. Like most people
mm.
can't just do something that instantaneous.
Right, 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 right. But
But
you
me,
had to. It was a health thing. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So
But
yeah.
even then, man, a lot of people, believe it or not, when they find out they have something like that, a lot of them they're so hard headed. And I'm just going by the professionals that tell me they're like,
Right, right, right.
people they were like people are really hard headed and they don't want to make real life changes to their
Oh
diet,
man, you
and
got
they'll
to, man.
just yeah.
I mean, it's a must, man. If we are more careful about what we put in us in our younger days, then we won't have such a turnaround in our health in our later days, my more mature days. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right,
we just can't. Too much of anything is bad for you. You know what I
right,
mean?
exactly.
So we just have to be more uh, grounded and rooted in discipline. And like myself, like I said, I'm guilty, man. I just that's one of my weaknesses, man. Uh, I just I need help, man. But yeah, man, we're gonna move on to the next one.
That's funny.
Soul food
Ooh,
looks good, but it's not
not
good.
good for
Tastes
you.
good, but it's
Right,
not good for you, man.
right.
What you got for that?
I indulge in soul food here and there. Not a ton,
Hmm.
but I definitely, oh man, I can name foods, right? Sweet potatoes and
Oh boy.
mac and cheese from
Mm,
scratch, and
yeah.
greens, and oh man, love
Man, you starting to
it.
sound like a preacher behind the pulpit now.
Hey, I'm telling you.
uh, yeah, man. And when I think of soul food, man, I think of those same things, but that deep fried fish and
Right.
that barbecue and all the greasy stuff that you shouldn't be putting in your body, man. But I tell you what, you get them flavors on your tongue and get to chewing and swallowing, man, and before you
This
know it,
it's different, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. You got to put a nap on it after you done,
Right.
which ain't good either.
Which
Uh,
right.
but yeah, man, moderation. I don't eat it like I used to, but during the holidays, man, I jump in it. I jump in it, man. During the family affairs and whatnot, man. I go hard with it, but I'm a lot better. I used to do like 3 or 4 plates, man. Now I'm down to 1 plate. So and I can justify that kinda. Um, Back in the day, I would go to different households, man. During the holidays. So I ended up, I would go to like 3 or 4 households, and at each household, I pile it up. So over the years, I'm like, I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? It's really not something that I can afford to do health wise, or period. So I just I trimmed it down to 1 plate. No matter where I go, man. If I get a plate in the next house, wrap it up and take it with me. You know what
Right.
I mean?
That's smart.
So yeah, I don't do it all at once now, which I can tell the big difference in just doing that. Cutting it back to 1 plate. But what you got, man? You got anything for that?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of actually similar.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll of course, like you said, when you're younger, you kind of can put away a lot of food.
Boy, boy.
And it's kind of like as you get older and you start having, just being more cognizant of your health, you're
Hmm.
kind of like, all right, I'm gonna just do this 1 plate. And then,
Okay.
if they're just insistent, oh yeah, you need to have this plate. All right, I'll wrap it up and take it home with me
Yeah,
and
right, right.
lunch tomorrow, or
Right. There you go. And we got to be smart about it, man. Even though it makes us weak because it looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, but it ain't good for us, man.
Right.
So we're gonna move off of that because we gonna put that behind us, man. Talking about all this good food, man, that ain't good for you. Um, let's go to people. Let's move to people, man.
Mm,
Sometimes people appear to be good or look good or talk good, uh, or make themselves appear in the presence of good when they're around you, but they're not good for you, man. And I'm gonna start with the banger, man. Relatives.
mm,
All relatives, they're your people. Now that they're your people now,
right.
but some of those people you can't really associate yourself with. I mean, doing a family reunion or something, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Keep it moving.
Right.
Because some of those relatives and into some things it can dictate how your near and far future may turn out.
Right. Absolutely.
What you
Absolutely.
got for that, bro?
Man, I'm actually gonna piggyback
Hmm. Hmm.
and second that, man, and some, because it's like, just because you share the same bloodline,
Right, right,
doesn't mean you share the same belief system or
man,
ideology or anything of philosophy of life. So
boy.
you have a different way of looking at things, and
Hmm.
they might have a different way of looking at things as a result of how both of y'all see things. Y'all kind
Boy,
of have to you have to keep a distance, because it's like, they're not into what you're into, or not trying to accomplish or get out of life even what you're
man,
trying to get out of life or accomplish. So it kind of just, you can love them, and you have to love them, but it's like, from a distance, you can only do so much.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna highlight some of those type of people just in case people don't know who we're talking about. And some of you might not know who we're talking about because you might be that one. Uh,
That's funny.
if your name is something on the orders of Junebug or Thug Bone, you know, uh, Sasha, no, Shanka Shay.
Hey, now you're getting into it.
let me stop right there, man, because I might be talking about some of my own people.
you,
No,
you
man. Go ahead. You got
kind of piggybacking off of that real quick, man.
something.
I know we're getting deep, man, but I can't help it. People don't understand what you name your child will
Boy,
have a long-lasting, lifelong effect.
man, look,
Names have meanings, so the
boy,
names that you give your children will carry and follow them for the rest of their lives. So, you might want to take real consideration, real strong thought to what you decide to, give your child.
man. And I know a lot of these new names are something that they create or come up with, but look at the root word. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Look at the root word and do some homework, research, because a name of a child is critical. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people way back in the day put thought in before they named their child. You know what I mean? Back in the days of before all the, you know, uh, transferism, is that a
right,
word? Transferism uh, occurred. People would take days or even weeks before they would name their child
right,
because it was very important on how you put a title on that infant to dictate what their futures would be about. I mean, they looked at the stars and the constellations, you know what I'm saying?
right.
They they,
Absolutely.
they looked into the history and they just looked into all type of things of prosperity or things of value, you know what I'm saying? Before they named that child. And today I don't know what process they go through, but when you come out with a name like Bartholomew or something like that, I mean, come on now. I mean, what did you think about before you came up with that? I mean, did you combine like 10 people in the family when you did that?
Right.
And what type of people were they? You know what I'm saying? Um, I know a lot of dudes like myself. They name their son after them. You know what I'm saying? Uh, or a lot of people who are strong in religion. They give their children biblical names or something like that. Uh,
Hmm.
People who had high representation or strong representation in the Bible or whatnot. Uh, that's putting some thought in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You continuing the name of the family through the generations, or you naming a person in the likeness of a biblical character. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because that's real strong truth. You know what I mean? We I think everybody can be more careful in everything they do,
Right.
and in this case, naming your child. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Good strong point, man. You got anything else on that?
Oh no, I think I'm good. I don't want to. I like to keep building.
Yeah. We can definitely do that, man. So, all right, friends. People who we consider friends.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of times we think they are like this a certain way or whatnot, or they present themselves to be a certain way. But the more you talk to someone, the more it kind of seeps out that they're trying to hide from you or whatnot. Or they can even, start making little comments. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And maybe the first time you might miss it, but the second time they make that comment, you like, hmm, you know, and then
Right.
that comment keeps resurfacing and resurfacing. You're like, well, what's really going on with that comment?
Right.
Where are
Right.
we going with this? So eventually, you have to confront that But that's just one uh, example. What are your thoughts, brother? What kind of examples you got?
It's funny, man. Friends and family, in certain cases, kind of blur the lines,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you may not be as close to certain relatives for reasons that we pointed out earlier.
Right, right, right.
So you find other people who are like-minded or who you think are like-minded, that you can kind of, connect with and link with. And, as time progresses, you kind of realize that sometimes they're not as like-minded as you think.
Boy.
Um, and that kind of goes into, our whole topic today,
Yeah, yeah.
just, they're not what they appear to be or what they seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, little comments,
Yeah.
or just their thought process just may not align with yours as much as you thought
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
things that are at least important.
Right, right, right.
So
And yeah, man. And the thing that I've been picking up on a lot lately, because in podcasting, we meet so many interesting people who are doing a lot of things of great value in life. Um, and one thing that I keep hearing from all of them, man, is the people who you surround yourself with.
mm,
What type of circle are you in? Because that dictates everything about where you are, but more importantly, it dictates everything about where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Uh,
an excellent point.
yeah, man, the successful people, I mean, put it more in perspective so where everybody can understand it. If you are poverty stricken and you are on government assistance, you probably are around other people of that same uh, background.
Right.
So let's move up a little bit. If you got a few pieces of chunks of money in the bank, you know, and you're work a career or whatnot, and the people that you are surrounded with, either by choice or just by happenstance, uh, the coworkers, like the group that you work with, those usually end up being the people that you hang with because that's who you see all the time. So you're
Right.
around them all the time. You put in all them hours, and that's your group. That's your circle. And then stepping it up a little bit, uh, you don't see millionaires hanging with people who are thousandaires. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Um, and then you don't see people who are heavy in the millions hanging with people who just hit the millions.
Right.
Um, and even further, you don't see billionaires hanging with nobody else but
But other
billionaires.
billionaires.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Uh-huh.
So that it shouldn't disappoint anybody or irritate anybody. Those are facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who you surround yourself with is everything. A lot of times we don't pay attention to it or realize the importance of it. But man, that says a lot. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. It kind of, you pointing all that out kind of remind me of, it's kind of piggybacking off your point. If you are, if you are, like you said, if you're on government assistance
Mm-hmm.
and you're hanging with other people that are probably on government assistance, that's kind of where you'll probably always be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of like, I guess the question is, how would you be able to elevate and be able to, maybe get to someone who, is a decent thousandaire, and
You
then,
know what?
you know,
You are you still elaborating, or do you want me to jump
yes,
in?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Um,
So
Go ahead.
no, go.
Oh,
I'm good.
okay. So it's just kind of, I would say it all starts with your thought process.
Mm-hmm.
If you can change the way you think, and I know it's kind of sometimes easier said than done,
Mm-hmm.
because I try not to put all of the emphasis on it, but there's some truth to being a product of one's environment, and it works in all aspects of life.
Boy.
But if you can kind of, if you come from a more unfortunate set of circumstances, if you can just kind of think, well, how would this person think if I'm trying to, get to this point? I have to kind of mirror my thoughts to how this person would think. It kind of, then in that situation, you'll be surprised to who you may bump into,
Mm-hmm.
and that they'll be kind of even be willing to kind of put you under their tutelage to kind of be like, all right, I know this is where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you're trying to get to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've made it. So I'm in a situation now where I can kind of help pull somebody up.
Yeah.
And, of course, you're not going to just be able to pull anybody up,
Right.
because
Right.
crabs tend to pull you back down.
Mm-hmm.
But what you
Mm-hmm.
try to do is, you try to, you're selective in who you would even find to be like, okay, this person is kind of, they think different. They're not your average person from this background. So
Absolutely.
I think a lot of that goes a long ways.
Absolutely, man. And people really don't understand the power of a question. Um, so I'm gonna go here because I think this will strengthen your point. I can go to a gas station right now
Mm-hmm.
and anywhere in town, and unfortunately, there are people who are lingering around the gas station, asking for a piece of change, this, that, and the other. Um, and my thought process is when they're asking for a piece of change, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at how they're dressed, and I'm looking at how their physical structure is. In other words, they have all mobility of their fingers. They have all their fingers. They have both their arms. They have both their legs. They don't look like they're in any type of handicap situation. Maybe the way they're thinking, but
Right.
I'm like kind of like Tupac on Poetic Justice. Get a job application. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Uh,
What have you done to help yourself?
yes, man.
Right.
Because that piece of change is gonna go like that. It's they didn't earn it. They just asked for it, and somebody gave it to them. So there's no
Value.
thank you, thank you. There's no value, and there's no effort to do better. They're just gonna ask somebody else.
Right.
So I'm like, instead of asking for a piece of change, I did this before. I was at a car wash and I saw an older gentleman. He rode up in a Bentley at a car wash. Yeah, you don't see that every day, right? So I'm washing my car and I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, I'm making sure I see what I'm seeing because you don't see that every day, right? Especially where I was washing my car at. And I'm like, dude, that is definitely a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why is this dude here washing his own Bentley? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just moseyed over there. How you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Cool as could be, man. And I picked his brain. I like, that's a nice car. He's like, yeah, it's okay. He's just treating it like it's one of his toys, probably was. And I asked him, I was like, out of curiosity, what do you do for a living? You know what I'm saying? And he said, I own businesses.
Plural.
Yeah. And I really didn't have a follow-up question, because he'd been there, he did his thing, he'd done it. And at that point, it's either can you show me how to get to where you at?
Right.
you know
Right.
what I mean? But that particular conversation didn't go that direction because I know I'm on my own path. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I didn't have a strategy or a plan for myself, then yeah, I'd have been like, you know what? I'm trying to get to where you at. What ideas or tools or suggestions can you give me, or can you point me in the right direction?
Right.
It would have been that type of conversation. But yeah, man, it's all about how you present yourself, even if you are on the street. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to present yourself. Say, hey, haven't had the best of luck. Things have been going a little different than I had planned, but I'm trying to make it. Is there anything that you can tell me, place I can go, something I can do in order to transform into where I'm trying to go. You gotta know where you're trying to go, first of all.
Right.
Um, unfortunately, a lot of those people are involved with the the drugs, whatever, that pull them down to that level. So that you got to kick that first. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Not to cut you off, man, it kind of reminded me when you said that there's a lyric that reminds me, and it's pretty simple, but it's pretty effective.
mhm.
A scheme that lacks vision is blind ambition.
Boy, boy, boy.
um, yeah. So that's kind of what I thought about, as you
Mhm.
were kind of speaking and saying what you were saying. I'm like, that's what that is.
Yeah, man. You got to know where you're going, uh, and you got to know where you at. Some people refuse to see where they're at, or blind to the fact that that's where they are. You got to be honest with yourself, man, and don't give up. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're trying,
You haven't
it's
failed.
it's yes, man. It's something. And even if you fail 100 times, man, keep
Right.
trying,
Keep
because
trying.
I mean that's how we got the light bulb, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just think if that person would have thrown in the towel and said, I'm done. I'm tired of trying. We'd be in the dark. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe somebody else would have came up with something different, but it was very important that when you do try, you keep trying until you hit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, all right, man. We dug deep off into that one. You got any
Yep.
more? You good?
I'm good. We
All right,
did go
man.
deep into that one.
Significant other.
Ooh wee.
Yeah, man. Looks appealing, smells appealing, but it's not good for you, man. Um, I mean, I got some examples, but I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Okay. Um, I do have a few personal experiences in that area, but I'll kind of just mention one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this person um, was just, really beautiful, man. She had a lot going on for her, very bright,
Mm-hmm.
um, carried herself pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
um, had an idea of where she wanted to go and where she wanted to be and,
Mm-hmm.
end up. So
Mm-hmm.
everything seems like, okay, what's the problem?
Right, 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 right.
As you as I kind of, delve deeper into that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that this person was in some way, somehow scarred.
Mm-hmm.
I think uh, a lot of times people don't give themselves a chance or time to heal
Right, right.
from previous endeavors that they've been on.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is, instead of taking that time to be apart from other people in that regard, they'll say, "Well, I'm okay. I'll be just fine," and they'll take those issues into the next relationship, and
Boy,
it's kind of a recipe for disaster.
yeah, yeah.
you know, Lo and behold, that person ended up, we ended up separating because I
Mm-hmm.
realized, even though it looked good
Right, right.
and it was, an appealing thing, it was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like something I was like, too many problems.
Boom. There it is. There it is, man. Too many problems. And I'm gonna try to highlight this. I got several examples, but I'm gonna try to combine them into one scenario if I can, because I don't want those actual people to be like, "That's me." So I'll just say this, man. When people meet each other, um, they present themselves a certain way, and usually they're doing and saying all the things that they know that's going to be appealing to you, uh, get your attention, and be inviting to what what's being presented from the other person. Some people are good at that, man. They're good at first impressions. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, you think, yeah, man, this might work out. This is kind of cool,
Right.
And then, so a week or two into it, you notice that it drops from here to here. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, well, you like this. I don't like that. Okay. You know what I mean? So then it drops from there to there in another week or two. And it's like, instead of having a conversation between the both of you, there's disagreement.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then all the things that you like, this other person all of a sudden doesn't like, and puts you in a position to where, well, what's really happening here? You're really not the person I thought you was. They start revealing who they really are, because in the beginning they revealed someone who they weren't.
Right.
So naturally you gravitate back to what you really are. So I see some videos on the internet, man. Sometimes I have a few seconds. I try to free my mind a little bit and just see what's out there. It's all crazy.
Absolutely.
But I think the one that appeals to me the most is so ridiculous, even if it's staged. There's a few guys out there, they make these videos, they just in common clothes, and a pretty person walks by, and with all the features, if you know what I mean. And then the person is just dissing them hard, cold, and then the dude will walk to this really nice ride. You know what I'm saying?
They jumping in a Beamer.
Yeah. Or something even nicer than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where the doors open up a little differently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then all of a sudden the chick comes back. The female comes back. And they're like, well, wait a minute, whoa. You didn't have anything to say to me a couple seconds ago.
Right.
Why you see that's that. You need to treat people like you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? You never know who you're talking to.
Right.
And the point I really want to stress here is, even if they got a car that nice, you really need to know that person anyway, right?
Exactly.
Because they can be a jerk. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, it's just a nice object or nice things that they may possess.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, that doesn't mean that they're the most heartwarming person, or
right.
They're going to treat you well or value you. Yeah, absolutely, man.
and then on the flip side of that, every now and then you get one person who's really nice and kind, and they'll talk to them and have a good conversation, and the dude will actually be surprised and impressed, because he's like, well, I'm used to getting dissed. You know what I'm saying? And then they do meet a nice person, and they're out there. You know what I'm saying? They just few and far in between, and you just gotta go through the swamp. You got to go through the swamp.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh man, you got anything else for that?
Yeah, man. I think people they tend to lean towards anything that's advantageous, to the point where there's no code of ethics. So they it's all about well, this person has these finances, they live in this house, they drive this vehicle, they have X amount of Swiss bank accounts, and everything is good, in that regard. And it's kind of like they don't have a real genuine interest in trying to really be with that person and actually reciprocate love to this person. They just want to have the belongings,
the
lifestyle that this person has. And you see a lot of that, especially in these days of time.
Yeah, man, and I understand the motive behind it. You don't want to be in a lifestyle that's going to be difficult. Nobody does. We all want to be successful.
Absolutely.
However, we want to be happy too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if you can get both, you know, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you don't get both. You get one or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would choose happiness any day. You know what I'm saying?
I second that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the happier you are, the more you're gonna go for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and people kind of miss that point. You know what I'm saying? They kind of miss that. You know, they want to jump from 0 to 100 instead of, you know,
Let's
going
build up
through.
to 10,
Yeah,
20,
right, right,
30. Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, man. I got one more, and this is okay. All right, here we go. The person that wants to be with you, but is doing everything they can to be close, to be a close friend, just in case.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is a caution light, man, for dudes and their boys, and for women and their girls, because honestly, if you my boy, I'm gonna tell you things that I won't tell everybody else.
right.
And same with a woman, you know, she's gonna tell her best friend uh, pretty much everything. Women don't hold back, man. They just they spill it all. And
Man.
and if your dude or your girl has ulterior motives, you know what I'm saying? They can use everything you giving them to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sneak in the back door.
Right.
So me, I'll tell my boy a little bit something more than I would tell everybody else, but he gonna get bits and pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He ain't gonna be able to put it together. He might get a little something here, a little something there, uh, but he won't get the whole complete shebang. You know, and I've grown to that level. You know what I'm saying? Because I know better. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then I think women that have gone through something, they probably grown to that too. You know what I'm saying? So they will share certain things,
Right.
but in my opinion, all the stuff that's very important, relevant, that needs to be spoken to that significant other. You know what I'm saying? That's where that bond is, and that's where that bond should stay. You know, so if you got somebody that you plan on, you know, taking your life with, or not taking your life with, living your life with, um, that's where that, you know, that's where all the information should be. You know, between you and that other person. You know, and then everybody else, you sprinkle a little something here and there. You know what I'm saying? But once um, that scale tilts, you know, and then those other people start getting more information than the one you with, that's when those problems start to show up, man. What you think? What you got on that?
Yeah, man. I tend to agree. You're gonna give, like you say, you're gonna give your closer friend or friends, a little bit more than you would give the average person in your life
Mm-hmm.
about a situation that you're in. But I think, like you said, man, your business is, your business. So you tend to be more on guard with how much of your business that you want to distribute to other people, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how close they are.
Right, right, right.
And it's funny, I've gotten to that point as well, where it's just like, I'll let somebody know something,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
but it's kind of like you're not going to get everything, because for obvious reasons, I'm
yeah.
not 20 anymore, kind of thing.
Right, right. You built something, and you want to continue building it, and you don't want nothing to fall down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want it to be
Exactly.
solid. I understand, man. I get it totally. So we're gonna move off people and go to groups. Um, we already talked about the guys and girls a little bit, uh, slightly, but I got social groups, the guys and the girls, religious and financial.
Hmm.
So thinking of those groups. You can pick one, anyone. Uh, they all can look good. They can all sound good. Uh, but man, a lot of times they are not good for you.
I think I'm gonna go with social groups.
Okay.
So a lot of people. I always say that even if you're a natural introverted person,
Hmm.
I always say that no one is an island, and we still need other people to still be able to function.
Right. Right.
Um, I think people have to just be careful with what they donate time to
Hmm.
and who they donate time to, because just because there's a social gathering of people that you think are like-minded,
Right.
a lot of times it could be filling you or filling your head with certain things that are kind
Hmm.
of not naturally even you,
Right.
but
Right.
because this is what you kind of subscribe to,
Hmm.
before you know it, you're doing and thinking and saying the same things that you learned in this social group atmosphere. And now the person that you once were, you're thinking you've evolved, and you've actually might have went backwards.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
um,
man.
yeah, social groups, man, they can be a really good thing like anything else,
Hmm.
but they can be really bad if you don't have the appropriate social group that fits you and where you're
Boom.
trying to go.
There it is, man. That's beautifully spoken. I can't even go elaborate on that. You just said it all, man. Um, so I'm gonna jump down to religious groups, and this is my thing about that. Um, there are groups you can be in, and they're all for, yeah, do this, let's do this. We can do that. The religious group, to me, in most cases, are one of the few groups that always say, you can't do this, you shouldn't do that, you must not do that. You know, um, Meanwhile, what they're telling you, they might be doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, so I understand the importance of them and the relevance of them and the good that they can or should provide.
Right.
However, I also am aware that other things go down. You know what I mean? Um, and then when it comes to your personal life, I think a lot of religious groups don't know how to separate the two. A lot of them are like all or nothing. You got to apply this to everything you do, or they don't know how to keep personal separate. And I noticed that a lot, man. And that's why there's a lot of issues in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a fine line between a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things. There's a fine line, and we got to know where that line begins and where it ends. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes organizations, uh, they just want to, be freely and do like this, and I think that's where a lot of problems lie. You know what I'm saying? What do you got for that?
Man, that's really perfect as well. Only thing I would probably add to that is, yeah, like you said, not they don't. I'm not. I think we all have a really good concept of right and wrong,
Hmm. Hmm.
whether we acknowledge or act like we don't know.
Right, right,
I
right.
think we all have that really good concept of right and wrong. So I think, to your point, they want to be able to freely jump the line of, going too far and, just to the point where they should stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times I think that they do this intentionally.
Mm,
It's not, they don't, they understand that, religion does have a certain amount of power. I mean, just look at the Pope. So, I mean, people have gotten really hip to, well, if I do this, or I say I want to do or be this, and I start this church or this organization for religion, then, people tend to, oh, I can do this, and I can basically kind of preach my own doctrine. or they always go so far, and it's just kind of because it's like there. I think you and I have had a personal conversation before about
Hmm.
if we all believe in one guy, why are there so many different religions,
Yeah, yeah,
backgrounds, all that? And I think a lot of it is just people they want to intimate so personally with the religion
hmm,
that they want everybody to view things as they view it. So they'll try to find a group of people that they can kind of lead,
control.
right, for lack of a better term. And yeah, man, a lot of people kind of, fall victim because they're not aware of what's really going on. They just looking at it like, oh, I'm from this background of life and I'm trying to better myself.
Hmm.
Oh, here's this religious organization and I could probably do better. They may visit once or twice and they're like, okay, this might be something for me. And it's just kind
Right.
of like, they don't always, there's just so much. We can go on that forever.
Yeah, man, we can spend some time on that. We're gonna hop back to the guys and the gals, and it's not just one individual. This is the group of bros that you hook up with, maybe go play ball with, or shoot pool with, or just go hang out, man. You know, everybody has their own thought process and how they look at things, and usually in a group of guys or gals, you know who they are. That one person is the spark. They ready to jump off at any minute and start something. One person is reserved, they chill. One person's kind of in between, and one person's a little weird. They're a little different.
Hmm. Right, right.
But as a group, collectively, you understand the differences with everybody. You understand usually where they sit, and I would say probably half or more of them, more than half are single or dating, and maybe one or two of them are married. You know what I'm saying? So, with that in mind, what you got?
Wow. That's excellent, man. Excellent setup because
Thank
that's really the story of life when you think about it. You
you.
have so many different people. Some people look alike, some people don't, but they
Right,
all
right.
come together for a common purpose, like you said, to play basketball,
Mm-hmm.
shoot pool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, let's say you're an individual who's married, obviously you're going to think a little differently than someone who isn't married.
You're gonna think a lot differently.
Right, right,
You got priorities and responsibilities. You're gonna think a lot
right,
differently.
right, right. And the people, who don't have those, responsibilities and priorities, they kind of are like, well, I'm a free soul. I'm not tied down. I'm not nailed down to anyone. And this is what I'm going to do.
Hmm.
And, that's fine.
Right.
But what they'll try to also do in some cases, they'll say, bro, why don't you do this too? And
Yeah,
it's kind of like,
man.
well, you know where I stand.
Right. Don't even come there. You already know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for some reason they always try, and there's
Right.
always one. But as
Right.
long as we keep putting our foot down, man, and letting them know, hey, that ain't me.
Right. Right.
That's you, and I wish you the best, but don't bring it here. Don't try to make me a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
And man, to your point, I think fidelity is. I'm about to dig into something a little deeper, I think, but
All right.
fidelity is something that I think is actually pretty rare in marriages these days.
Mm.
A lot of people, yeah, they're married, but a lot of times people don't really honor their vows that they've made to them, themselves, to the other
Yeah.
person,
Hmm.
to God.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and they'll find themselves in precarious situations that they allowed or even initiated.
Boy.
Um, and it's just one of those things where fidelity is a really rare thing now. The infidelity part, I've kind of witnessed a
Yeah.
lot more than I would like to have seen.
Hmm.
Watching other people's marriages and so forth, and it's just kind of like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Um,
know,
that's you know, it, it's it's the thought process, like we was talking about earlier, and what people value or have no value for.
Right.
Yeah, man, you got to make sure you know who you marrying. Before my thought process was like, I'll get to know them, you know, and depending on how good I know them, how good things are going, then we can maybe pursue something else. Dude, now I'm like, uh, who's your mother? Who's your father? Uh, what were you born as? Did you have any operations? Did you have any
Right.
transformations? I mean,
I mean, it's
you,
crazy, but
you
it's
got
the truth.
you got to ask everything, bro. Uh, and then it don't stop there. I want to meet the family. I want to meet the distant family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if your family is plotting bank jobs, you know what I mean. I don't want to be a part of that.
Right. Right.
Or if your family then did a few bank jobs.
Exactly.
I,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you have to do as much background check as you can nowadays, man, because you just don't know, man. And there's a rare opportunity, a rare occurrence where the person you meet is gold, and their family's not, and they just,
Right.
you know what I mean. So sometimes you really can compare them to their family members,
Right.
but it will help you understand
Right.
that person a lot better, for me, knowing them, knowing their parents, knowing their family and extended family gives me a better understanding of this person or where they came from. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man, you kind of gave me an idea because they don't understand. I mentioned the product being a product of one's environment earlier,
Uh-huh.
but people don't understand that it works both ways. So sometimes you can come from a certain background and it's like, oh, you ended up being just like this background and it could be good or bad. And it's like,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But then there's the opposite that can occur as well.
Yes,
So you
yes.
come from a certain background and you're like, okay, this is just not for me. So that
Mm-hmm.
affects you and it makes you want to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a good thing or bad thing as well. But it just kind of like, there are so many. This is life.
Yeah, that's life, man. And then I want to bring up this subject real quick. I knew a person, and they were like an angel, man. Just a great person. I mean, I wouldn't have ever thought any different other than what they was presenting. And then one day I seen this person around their people.
Oh,
Total shift, man. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? I mean, just complete opposite, man. So I'm like, all right, I know now.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it can happen either way, man. It just
Right.
depends on who you dealing with and where they at, man. Uh,
Right.
but let's get into financials, man. I know time is ticking away from us. We still got a little bit more to go. You good? You good on time?
I'm good.
Sweet. So financials, man. Financial groups, man. They can look good. They can say the right words. They can make it sound good. But in the end, they might not be good for you. They might be good for them. You know what I'm saying? But are they good for you? Uh,
Mm,
and what I say is, I know they're good for me if they're really looking out for my best interests and really trying to get me to go a certain direction. As long as I get the freedom to do me and not be triggered off into, where they're trying to place me. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I think that's the most important thing. I think a lot of people lose sight of that. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
When they are dealing with something as critical as financials. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I've heard some people are very aggressive when it comes to finances. Some people are moderate. Some people are light. It just depends. We all want to end up financially secure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the people in your group, when it comes to finance, man, they have to be on board with what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? Ask the questions like, what are you trying to accomplish? What's important to you? You know what I'm saying? What are your goals and dreams? Let's help you get to those. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm fortunate to know some good people like that in financial groups, but all financial groups aren't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You got anything for that, bro?
yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'll just kind of say and make a point from this statement. I think everyone's goal is about financial freedom.
Mm.
Um, I think the point, when you join a financial group, you want to be able to not be placed in a box. You want to, there should be an understanding. At least I think this is what, at least I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
My financial goal is to, realize that there is no box. So,
Right. Right.
I'm trying to, you want to always link with someone or a group of people
Hmm.
that are kind of thinking that, yeah, I want to be able to get up and do this when I want to do this, and I want to not have restrictions when I do it. Um,
Right.
so,
Right.
I think that as long as, like you said, the people within the group
Uh-huh.
understand everyone's goals and
Right.
that there are common goals in general, that I think, it can definitely be incredibly good for you. But
Uh-huh.
like you said, you have other, scenarios where you join a financial group and, people are about their own personal bottom line, and everyone else's, bottom line doesn't matter.
Got it.
I'm kind of like, I feel like if you're in a financial group,
Hmm.
if one person is successful, everyone should be successful. If one person is failing, we need to figure out how to bring this other person to the success that we all share. you
Right.
know,
Right. Right. Right.
so yeah, I mean that's kind of where I sit with it. But what are your thoughts?
Man, I just received a text to turn on the comments because there have been people commenting on what we're talking about. Uh, y'all have to excuse me, man. I'm new at running the show. This is my second show that I'm in charge of, behind the scenes and running it, like being the host. So I'm learning as I go. Uh, you have to ask me that in just a second, bro. Uh,
Sure.
but someone was saying that they love some pepperoncini, and someone said that some jalapenos are fantastic. So they were actually commenting on our conversations from before, man,
Earlier,
which is great. I appreciate that, y'all. Keep it up. I know what I'm doing on that now. All right. So bring me back to what you was talking about, bro. What was your question?
I was just saying, what do you think about, I guess, that, and in the regards of, everyone's, I guess, common goal is for everyone to be successful. If you're not, if you're only, I guess, in it to benefit as an individual and not as a group, then you need to definitely reevaluate the group that you're in,
Hmm.
because everybody doesn't is not for everybody's success. I mean that's problematic. um, I think we should all, I'm like it's enough out here for everyone to be successful.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I always say there's strength in numbers, man. If you can do it as a group, it's probably going to be easier uh, and less difficult than it would be as an individual because you're moving as a team, you're flowing as uh, a movement. You know what I'm saying? Can it be done as an individual? Absolutely. But even as an individual, you're going to need some people that you trust and you can work with to get you to that next level, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a financial planner, whether it's, whoever, uh, somebody in real estate to help you buy a solid piece of uh, land or uh, a building. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to form a team anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
So eventually, even if you start out alone, you're going to end up with a team of people. So you might as well go with some people that you trust and can roll with and know their stuff, or hook up with people who know those people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they can get you there. Uh, that way, whatever you're shooting for, you'll eventually hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. All right, man. Shoot, man, we didn't did real good on that. I got some more here. Um, and I really want to keep going, man. What do you think, man? Should we keep going, or what do you want to do? It's on you, man. What you want to do?
We can keep going.
All right, cool. Let's see. All right, man. So these are situations, man, and they kind of highlight the things that we talked about earlier as far as food and people and groups. So the first situation, keep in mind we're talking about what looks good for you may not be good. I mean, what looks good to you may not be good for you. Here's a situation. You're hungry, and your favorite restaurant has a really long wait. So your second option is your favorite fast food joint with a drive-through, and their line is long and they're packed. So you're hungry, man. You're trying to get some food in you. Then you come to a food truck with no line at all. You're hungry, but the opportunity's there, but you also have to deal with whatever repercussions that might come afterwards. So what would you do, bro?
I would say it depends on my state of mind, but I would probably, depending on what's actually on the menu of this new place, this food truck that I haven't, had food from before, I would probably try it.
Okay.
Since there's no way, I would probably try it. Of course, there's the thought process of, okay, there's no wait. Does that mean this food is actually not good?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you're definitely taking a chance, but I would say you took a chance on anything you've ever tried anyway.
True. And keep in mind, even though you go to your favorite restaurant or drive-through spot, things can happen there too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's unfortunately, it's kind of risky no matter where you go. You just hope for the best. And yeah, I think your decision is a sound one. Me, I don't know, man. It depends on how far I am from home. You know what I mean? Because if I'm close to home, I'm just gonna go home and get something to eat because
right.
I'm saving money and I'm gonna get what I want. And I prepared the way I want it. So, but if I'm still too far away, I'm like you, man. I might go ahead and dabble with that food truck because I've had some food truck food, and it's been some good stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
I ain't gonna down a food truck because there's some really good food trucks out there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, I'm right with you there, man. If I'm hungry, I got to get something in the
gut. Right.
And I don't want to wait.
Right.
All right, man. Let's go to people. So you're at home chilling, no plans, just relaxing. You get a call from a person who's just got in town and they want to hang, they want to kick it. Now, I'm not going to say what type of person it is. I'll let your imagination work with that. But you decide what type of person that is and what you want to do. I mean, you got a good day of relaxation, no obligations, and you get this call from this person. What do you do?
I guess I'll preference my comments by first saying, depending on the person, depending on that person, man, I if the person is someone that's a little bit more like-minded, I'll probably go ahead and say, all right, let's get together. I mean, if they're in town, they probably obviously don't live with, in the city anyway. So
right.
I'm not going to be able to spend a ton of time with them in general. So I'll probably go ahead and go ahead and try to do that. But of course, if they're a different person who just happens to have my number, I'll definitely let them know I'm not available.
Right. Or they can leave a message.
Right.
Yeah, man. I'm like you, man. Depending on who it is and what they're about, I might be like, oh yeah, man. Shoot, I ain't seen you, and let's go do something. You know what I mean? Let's go have a talk over some chicken wings or something like that. I don't know, man. Just it's good to what do we call it? Reconnect uh, with somebody you ain't seen in a while, depending on who they were. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But we're in line on that one too. Because if it's a Shinkish day or Thug Brim, no,
Right, right,
no.
right.
Got to keep it moving, man.
Yeah, man. You want to keep your peace, man. Peace and peace of mind are just things that I think you almost can't put a price tag on it.
Right, right,
So you
absolutely,
you
man.
definitely want that. You only want to be surrounded with positive energy,
Absolutely,
because it is
absolutely, man.
transferable. So
Right,
I
right.
don't want no negativity. I'm good.
Especially when you got a day of relaxation playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want
Exactly.
to deal with all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Let's see what we got here. Mm,
Hmm.
this is for a group, I guess, because it involves more than one.
Okay.
Uh, you have a disagreement with your spouse,
Hmm.
and you go on a drive to cool your head, and no matter where you go, Houdini happens. And let me explain Houdini. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Houdini is, it's a rap group from back in the day who had a song titled "The Freaks Come Out."
Okay.
The freaks come
I like
out
this
at
one,
night.
Lord.
The freaks come out at night, and my whole point of this is, um, this is how things work, regardless if you want it to work that way or not. This is how things work. When you're single, you can't find a pretty person anywhere. They're just non-existent. It's like they're hiding from you. But when you got somebody, they show up for some reason. And
Hmm.
especially when you have an argument or a disagreement with the person you with, they come out in swarms. So with that in mind, brother, I know what you're gonna do. You know what you're gonna do. But let's let the people know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, man, that's a great point. My wife and I, we actually don't have a ton of disagreements, especially the kind where I'm like, boy, I got to get out and clear my head.
Uh-huh.
We have had a couple, and uh, it's funny, I remember when my brother who passed away, we would always kind of, turn corners together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I would, we weren't, me and my wife weren't even married at the time officially. We were just,
mm-hmm.
engaged.
Right, right.
And my brother would be like, man, bro, you didn't see that girl looking at you, or oh man, this chick was just looking at you on the.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I don't notice it. And
Right.
he was just like, hey, bro, he was like, dude, you be getting a lot of attention and you just don't know. And I'm just like, well, I'm like, that's just not where my head is.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's everybody, moves and thinks differently, I guess.
Mhm, yep.
But for me, I guess my life philosophy is just, standing on business. So I kind of,
Cool.
my business is my wife, kind of like, I'm not trying to entertain the thought process too much of someone else. Even if we had a disagreement, that's life.
Yeah, man. That's life, man. And I want to kind of piggyback off of that, man, because you know what looks good, it ain't always good for you, man. And if you got something that's good, that's the only thing you really need to be paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? Even though
Yeah.
people have difficulties with that, um, you have to build to a certain strength, you
Right.
know, and you have to have a strong connection with that person to be loyal to them, even when you're not happy with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What you got, man? I know you got something.
Yeah, man. It's funny because a lot of times, like you said, the freaks come out at night, piggybacking off the great Houdini track.
Yeah, man.
Um, man, I had a situation at a previous job, man, where this woman, she was heavily after me, right?
Hmm.
And she wasn't bad looking. And she kind of would go above and beyond to let me
Hmm.
know how interested she was.
Hmm.
But like you said, everything that looks, good to you is not good for you. I knew for a fact, she's not the kind of person that I would take seriously anyway.
Right.
Um, so it's kind of like, her whole prerogative was, even if she didn't verbally say it, it was more like, he is so dedicated to his fiance that I want to be the one woman that'll make him jump out of his character. And
Wow.
just to say that I was the one that, yeah, it's amazing, man. A lot of people, some men move like that with women too, but
Hmm.
man, it's amazing how people are, the psyche of people and how they think and how they maneuver life.
Yeah, man. I just it doesn't baffle me, and it shouldn't surprise me.
Right.
But after all the examples that we've had from then till now, you would think people would be just like, let me just do the right thing. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But it don't
Right.
happen, man. People still think they can sneak and not get caught. Um,
Right.
People still think they can, do whatever. But at the end of the day, man, uh, what's that saying? What you do in the dark should come
Comes
to the
to the
light.
light.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah, man. So, poetics, man. That's all I got. If you got something else, man, what you got?
No, man, I think this is I think we hit a lot of different topics, man, and I think we
Yes,
did
sir.
a great job of expounding on each topic and taking it
Absolutely,
to the
man.
next level. So
Absolutely, man. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is my co-host Poetics from What's Going On. It will be hitting you on January the 1st. We are so excited and looking forward to that, man. I want to thank you for helping my show, That's Life with Evolution, become successful. Things are happening like I would never believe, and they're definitely happening a lot faster than I ever thought. So thank you for your support, and looks like we're gonna be around for a while because things is happening, man. So we're gonna keep it coming. I got other episodes planned for you. I'm gonna keep it fresh, and we got a lot of good stuff for you for what's going on with poetics and evolution, man. So thanks for coming back again. I'm gonna have you on my show one more time at least. Because we really got a good vibe, man, and we get the thing going. We got comments going on here. My fault for missing the comments when they were happening, but it's a learning thing. we learn as we go, right?
for
So,
sure.
but yeah, man, you got anything new happening with Poetics other than the show?
Actually, nothing at the moment is brewing. I'm just kind of keeping my head down and living one day at a time, man.
Hey, man, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's playing it safe.
Right, right,
You know what I
right.
mean? But yeah, man, good to have you in my circle, man. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of new people in my circle, and they are open to whatever I'm looking for and what I'm trying to do, man. They just want to be helpful and supportive, and I can't thank them enough for just even telling me that, and give me the opportunity, man. Give me numbers and say, hey, man, you got all access. Call me whenever about anything. It don't matter, man. I appreciate all of y'all for all of that, man. It's been great, and it looks like it's getting better every day, man. So I'm very, very humbled by it. I really appreciate it. I'm thankful, and I'm ready to get it going some more.
Yeah,
uh,
man. I definitely appreciate you having me for this warm up, man, to our actual show together, and I'm definitely looking forward to that on Monday.
Absolutely, man. We'll see y'all Monday. That's life. Peace.